every print that comes off the press is a winner, but instead of throwing them aside, I see them as an opportunity. In this home print studio vlog, I'm taking prints that didn't quite work and making them into pieces that I really love, using collage, monoprint and drawing. So watch as I experiment, I'm going to problem solve, I'm going to turn the unpromising prints into frame-worthy art. I'm Ruth and I make videos from my tiny shed studio in Bristol, UK. I'm helping artists deepen their practice through hand printing at home. If you want all my content straight to your inbox, plus my free guide, How to Be a Rebel Printmaker, 5 Rules You Need to Break to Make Your Best Work Yet, then do join my list. That is, the link's in the description below. You might also want to join the waitlist for my new 10-week course, Hand Printing Happiness. That's coming in May, and that's going to be a comprehensive course running all the way from setting up your own home print studio all the way through to integrating print into your existing practice. Again, the link is in the description. Right, let's get going. So these are the pieces I'm working on. I've been printing these, this is actually 2 plates printed onto sheen collage, onto a very large piece of paper. So I've got quite a lot of white space around it. And the idea was, there was a photopolymer plate here, which are these lovely sort of whooshy marks. And there's also a dry point plate, which is this scratchy line here. And I printed one over the other, one after the other, while the paper was still damp. But what's happened is I think the sheen collage is just a bit too dark, and the colours haven't come, or the print hasn't come out brilliantly well. And it's just all a bit too dark, really, I think. And so I'm going to try and lighten this up, probably with some collage. I'm probably going to actually kind of make these lines a bit more obvious and make the horizon line more obvious as well. I'll just show you the other one. So they're really similar. They had the similar sheen collage on them. This one is, I think these marks have come out a little bit better. So I will try and keep those. And I kind of like this quite subtle marks here as well. But again, I want to make this horizon line really bit more detail, bit more obvious. I want to lighten up the whole thing and just make them really, really nice objects. I might also add complementary colours to kind of make it zing out a bit, because the colours just aren't turning me on really at the moment. So let's get going. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually just use some of my favourite drawing things to draw into etchings and just get some of this line work back. I've got a charcoal pencil, I've got a graphite pencil, and I've got charcoal itself. Got a little bit there. I really like charcoal pencils because you get this really dark line, the same kind of black that you get from etching or dry point, which is what this is. Actually, this is photopolymer, but I'm just trying to get these rather vague lines back in to the composition so that we've got some proper darkness, not just texture in the middle there. I've lost a lot of this. I think it's partly because I printed onto this sheen collage, this colour here, and that is actually already printed with oil colour, oil paint actually, and it's just failed to kind of like print as well, as evenly as it might do. I mean, I quite like on it. I'm going to keep some of the unevenness, but I just want some good line there, a good horizon line. So I'm kind of starting to get it back again. I don't want to overdo it, like I say. And I want the bottom of it where this is water, where that meets the land. I want that to be pretty obvious as well. My sheen collage is coming away slightly here, so I will re-glue that as well. And onto this one, which is very similar but a bit different, I'm just going to fill in this black here with the charcoal. As much as I love these colours here, I want it to be obvious that there is a horizon line, that this is land, not sea. And I think this is probably where the 2 plates didn't quite marry up. I tried my best to kind of register them together, but they didn't quite manage it. So the next thing I'm going to do is collage, and actually this is brilliant for like really quick wins, completely transforming a piece. As some of you might know, I often go to it straight away. So this piece of collage, this is already printed, very much like these pieces that are on here already. It's printed with oil paint, and I have a whole massive stash of these ready to go. They're I either do them on purpose or they're offcuts from something else. Monoprinting by hand, just rolling ink out onto a flat surface. There's lots of videos that I've got that show that. You just put your thin paper on, this is tissue, you know, press onto the back and peel it away again. So I've got loads of this stuff, but this is a really light colour, just a slightly off-white, and I just want to lighten the whole thing. And I also want to sort of re-put in this horizon line here where the sea meets the land. So this is going to work really well, and it's a really nice quick thing to do to completely change a piece. So I've just got a piece of scrap tissue here, and this is rice glue, or nori paste it's sometimes called. This is the tube it comes in, Yamato sticking paste it's called. I get mine from intagliaprintmaker.com, the online retailer, and I'm just going to put the glue on here with a spatula. I don't dilute it, I know some people do, but I just do it like this. Normally because this stuff it dries matte and you can hardly see it, I tend to just sort of, I don't bother being quite so careful. But because I actually really like this white space around the print, which I'd quite like to keep, I won't be cropping it down, or hopefully won't be cropping it down, which means that I need to actually be a little bit more careful than I normally am. Now, this is where it can get a little bit difficult. So my tissue is sticking to itself, especially with the larger pieces of tissue. It can get a bit difficult, right? Now, because this is tissue paper, it becomes quite see-through when you stick it down. A little bit more see-through than it is before you put the glue on. Okay, I'm just gently pressing it down here. I'm going to use another piece of scrap paper here to just place over the top, and then I can really push down just with my fist to get the wrinkles out. Okay, so you can see it's gone quite transparent there, but it has lightened up the whole thing, and it kind of looks a bit like light reflecting on water, I think. So I'm going to let that one dry. So I'm also going to stick this piece onto the other print. I won't lie, I actually spent quite a bit of time before I started filming this choosing what I was going to do, and sort of fishing out bits from my stash of collage and monoprint. So it's taken me, I'd say, about kind of half an hour, 20 minutes, half an hour, just sort of playing around, figuring out what I want to do, cutting pieces down. So it's not quite as, I'm not winging it quite as much as it maybe looks. But this piece I wanted because it's a complementary colour to this green here. It's red, so it's complementary to green, and it's just really jumping out. Movement, energy. Some of these marks are coming through on the edge here because it's transparent. Love this bit here, and I wanted to use it in something. And again, it's kind of adding to the horizon line here. It's making it a bit more definite, as well as adding some lovely, lovely colour. Plus, I loved this area of the print, and I didn't want to hide it. I really like this, so that's the one bit I like. So this I can just put on one side, and again it should really transform the piece. So I'm going to add some monoprint now. I'm going to add a little bit of sort of orange to the one that doesn't have, ready orange to the one that doesn't have it, and I'm going to add a little bit of light to the one that doesn't have it. So I've just pre-mixed this colour, roll it out quite thin. Okay, that's fairly thin, and I am going to add just a little bit of line work to this one here, which doesn't have any colour in at the moment, really, not any bright colour. Just going to shift that over a little bit, and it's going to be, well, I don't know about subtle, but not much of it, just a really small amount, because I don't want it to be sort of overwhelming. Okay. Now that might even be all I want. I think it is actually. Just that one bit of colour, bringing it together. Okay, so the next little bit of monoprint that I'm going to do is just some off-white here, and I'm going to put it into the sky of the other piece. So just rolling that out, and I'm going to manipulate the ink, and hopefully it's going to look a bit like rain catching the light, I hope. So I'm just going to use a little bit of kitchen towel here. I'm just going to take some of it off in quite a sort of haphazard way, but hopefully when this is printed it's going to look like rain. Peel that away. Okay, right, really liking that. That's lovely. So those quite haphazard marks I made have actually come out really nicely, quite gestural, and I think it does indeed look like rain catching the light. So I'm pleased with that. So while I've got a bit of this on the roller, I'm just going to sort of, not exactly, well, kind of neaten up this edge here. This looks a little bit odd, and I'm also just going to try and get into this line here, cover it up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so this is what I've ended up with. This is one of the pieces. So I'm actually starting to really like these now. They're a lot more interesting than they were. They've got some really nice elements. I've managed to keep the elements that I've liked anyway, and then add some more in. And we've got these lovely kind of accidental marks, some really nice gesture, evened up the tonal balance a little bit more, so added a bit of lightness in there. So that's that one. And then this is the other one. Again, really liking this now. I love this kind of, it's a sort of impression of light reflecting on water, and that's the transparency of the tissue paper and that light colour that's on it. So I'm really enjoying that. I might do a bit more work on this. I'm not sure yet. I think I'm going to put it away, have a think, but it's definitely interesting me a lot more than it was, and it's got a bit of potential now. I hope that's inspired you to persevere, not lose hope, and save some art from the bin. If this piques your interest in hand printing at home, then you might like my new 10-week course, Hand Printing Happiness. If you want to join the wait list to hear about it first and join first, then the link is in the description below. If you really can't wait, I do have a couple of instant access courses ready to go on my website. Again, the link is down in the description, so take a look at that. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.